Alright people, listen up. For all of you anime watchers out there, which is weird because this channel is called Manga Dungeon, but for all of you, the loud majority, you absolutely cannot be having a good time right now, okay? You're sitting up here, you're watching Promised Neverland, you're noticing the pacing is being a little bit weird, a little inconsistent, they're doing a lot of stuff without a whole lot of payoff, and there's something going on here. You go on twitter.com, you go on our anime or whatever have you, and you get told that you are missing out on some primo content. And I don't mean like just a little bit of stuff here and there. I mean, you were missing multiple story arcs with a lot of very, very fine stuff going on in there. You were being told that after Goku defeats the Red Ribbon Army, he then goes out to fight Majin Buu at the very end. You're missing a lot of stuff there, and it's pretty bad, because people like me, we're sitting here, we're laughing at you, we're pointing at you, we're beating you over the head with our gavel saying read the manga. We're breaking out that Boondocks gif where it says read motherfucker. You know the one. You've all been shown that one. And at the time of writing, an era is coming to an end. The penultimate chapter of Attack on Titan that will more than likely wrap up the main conflict is coming out. And let me tell you, I'm not going to spoil it for you. That will be next month and some change. But just pure math. The most recent episode goes up to about chapter 110, and the final chapter will be chapter 139, so you have a full season worth of anime that absolutely should not be crammed into a scant 4 episodes. So you're going to be dodging that either A, for the rest of time if we live in the bad universe where they simply don't adapt the ending, or you're going to be waiting for, I don't know, maybe until October of this year, where maybe you'll get a season 2 part 2 or a movie, or who knows, it could be longer. Remember the wait between season 1 and 2? Children literally became adults in that time frame. So it's looking like it's going to be a little bit of a rough ride for you guys going forward. So now that I have extended that olive branch to you, I would like you to grant me some of the same favorability, okay? Because today I'm going to talk about spoilers. Now, you don't have to agree with this video, but, just humor me as a real person that isn't, maliciously trying to ruin your fun, but just consider what I have to say, be it right or wrong, even though it is objectively right. Okay, so, have any of you ever eaten, like, a Subway sandwich before? No. Okay, well, what a blessed existence you must lead. So for the rest of us who are left to walk this disgusting husk of a planet after eating something that horrible, right? You're eating it, and you notice, there's a bug at the end of the sandwich. You've been gobbling down the sandwich, seems okay. You notice there's a bug at the end, or a hair, or just something you didn't like. I don't know, it could be an olive, and you hate olives, right? You go to the cashier and you say, whoa now, hold on, you people gave me a sando with a hair or a bug or something other in it, right? And you're pretty mad. Would you describe that as a good sandwich? Now, rightfully speaking, many of you would say no, because the experience of eating the sandwich isn't just dictated by the part where you were eating the sandwich and everything was fine. It was dictated by the entire experience of eating the sandwich, up to and including when everything went awry and there was a hair in your sandwich. Now, let's apply that to anime for a second, right? Because anime, like eating, is a very close, one-on-one, intimate experience with this piece and you, the experience you have while consuming this piece of media isn't just dictated by, chapters 1 through 100 or episodes 1 through 390 or anything like that. Once you've consumed this entire thing, that's just the thing that it is now, right? Like, I can't really parse just one episode of Naruto. I can't parse just 1 or 2 arcs of Dragon Ball. Well, I mean, I can because I'm a super genius, but that's really not the way people consume media. Can you really only talk about the first 30 minutes of a movie? Can you just judge Madoka based on the first 2 episodes where you don't know Kyuubi is a villain? Is that fair? I really don't think so, because aspects of the plot, that have a large effect on the story can and will affect the way you read the rest of the story, both going forward and information you processed before, because things that were just hypothetically convenient writing, like very obvious retcons, that can now read to me as a deliberate plot setup. So when I see you, stumbling over that particular roadblock, I'm going to say, sure is interesting how that character has a bunch of hats when the serial killer we're looking for is the Hat Man. Now, it's totally possible that the fact that the serial killer is the Hat Man, that could have been just totally convenient writing, because we happen to have a character who deals with hats and a murder weapon that happens to be a hat. This isn't a real example, I'm making this up. And the writer literally thought of this hundreds of chapters after introducing this character. So do you see why I would have a difficult time parsing the idea of this seemingly innocuous Hat Man in this narrative about hats as like saying, this is a setup. I think you should look out for this, because I certainly didn't know that going in. I may have thought it was interesting if I had a little bit more inkling about this character being suspicious. Now, that said, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here, the fundamental disconnect in philosophy, right? You are playing Final Fantasy VII, and I tell you that Eris dies, right? Now, could you get upset with me because I told you that this character dies? Like, you don't know that necessarily going in, but, most people would agree that that's basically fine, because that information has just been out there, right? Now, some people may argue that the reason why that wouldn't be considered such an egregious thing, even if you were more or less spoiler friendly, is because that information is contained within the game. It is something that you can just do, right? You just play the game and it'll happen naturally and you'll find it. But with anime, you don't have that option. You're just watching the anime, and when you're caught up, you're caught up. You can't really make them go faster. For all you know, they could literally be preparing a recap episode for you next week, so you're not going to find out that this character dies, not just next week, but the week after, right? And on surface, that seems pretty reasonable. You're doing your due diligence to keep up with the series. You're watching it every week, but you simply don't want to read the manga, and that's fine. However, the way I see it is that information, much like in the video game, it is already out there. It is a thing you can just experience right now if you want it to, and you are simply choosing not to. You are simply only going Kaioken times 2 when you could be going times 5. You're going Super Saiyan 1 when you could be Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. You are simply choosing not to absorb that information. While I, on the other hand, I already know, and I am entirely agnostic to the way I get this information. It could be by watching the anime, it could be by reading the manga. These two mediums are telling the exact same story. In the same way that I don't think it would be necessarily huge spoilers to say, hey guys, at the end of this book, a book that hasn't even come out yet, here's what's going to happen because I've read the books. Because for all I know, that could change greatly. You guys saw Promised Neverland. And also, again, I feel like I am just sharing what my experience with this piece of media is, just like you should be able to. For example, if you were simply watching the anime and you were at episode 150, you normally wouldn't be regarded as a big bad spoiler person for spoiling what happens in episode 290 when Bob over here is only on episode 3. And the way I see it, and the way I think you may also see it, at least in the anime context, is that is at least somewhat Bob's problem. It is Bob's responsibility to stay away from spoilers. It is Bob's responsibility to just avert your eyes when you see the spoilers on screen. And I see the same way, not just in terms of, just the video game on its own, not just in terms of the anime on its own, but just in terms of this particular story in general. It is your responsibility to avoid spoilers that you don't want to see, especially when you are willingly, and I cannot stress this enough, willingly not going to take in further parts of the narrative until it's delivered to you in a way that you find preferable. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not demonizing you for it. But I just think that, you know, if you were going to willingly hold back your power level, then it's on you not to, you know, steer clear of the ring when the big boys are duking it out, you know what I mean? That's why I typically avoid fandoms until I'm done with the thing that I was doing. For example, if you're playing Undertale, I think the experience is much better if you didn't know that one of the very friendly characters is a super tough boss way at the end of the game, if you pick a certain storyline that is not a natural thing you think to do. Now, here's where my take is going to get extra super spicy, because I'm keeping this one at the end of the video, okay? Are you ready for this one? Are you ready to laugh? I think the internet hype machine, when it comes to spoilers, not just for anime and manga, but just in general, is just brain poison, okay? So, in order to learn about anything, you can't just hear the premise and just that be it, and you say, oh, I gotta check this out. Well, I mean, maybe some people do, but especially with anime, like, the premise is not an indicator of quality. Otherwise, every single isekai show would be the wackiest thing, but really they're all basically the same show. You have to learn why this particular series is special in order to want to really check it out. Sometimes some series have an interesting enough premise to make this go, but sometimes you actually need to hear a spoiler to find out why this series may be cool. For example, if you're watching Madoka, I don't think it's right for me to try to pitch the show to you as, oh, you know, it's just 3 girls chilling out and doing magical girl stuff. Because, you know, before you get into any spoilers whatsoever, that is technically what the show is. And it is, in fact, a twist that it gets dark about 3 or 4 episodes in, right? But I really think you would benefit from knowing that it's going to get dark going in. That would improve your game experience, or, you know, something like a Final Fantasy VII that, except for its setting, by all metrics of the word, seemed kind of like a pretty normal RPG, right? But a lot of people really wanted to get into it, specifically because Aerith dies in the middle of the game, and the game just kind of keeps going. Video games, or at least up until that point, don't do that. Now, that is a pretty big spoiler, and most people know that Aerith dies in Final Fantasy VII, but, you know, the point is, you're still being spoiled for something that is a pretty big plot reveal, right? And this is supposed to be motivation to get you to go in. You should be saying, oh, dang, that sounds really hype. I gotta get in on that. I gotta see what's going down over there, because you may have spoiled it for me, but I gotta see the rest of the journey, you know what I mean? Like something that I like to do very often is when people are curious about Gurren Lagann, I don't show them the first episode, I show them the last episode. Sure, they're being spoiled for possibly, you know, a major character dying because, you know, they're just not in the rest of the series or whatever have you. And yeah, you are getting the ultimate outcome for, you know, what's going to happen here. However, you know what you are getting? You're seeing where the story's going, you are seeing why the story is so special, and by seeing that, you should be able to say, you know, if you're a really big intellectual, you know how to consume your goddamn media, you're saying, that sounded pretty good. Where can I get some more of this, you know what I mean? You're getting, like, the best, like, I'm giving you a little taste of why this stuff is so rad, and you're gonna really sit on that snack for a while. You're gonna say, wow, that sure was good, give me more of that. And frankly, a lot of media, especially anime, are really bad about being very forthcoming with how hype it's going to get right from the start. And frankly, for a lot of series, they do tend to taper out. And sometimes, you know, hearing a spoiler, it should be a kick in the butt for you to say, oh shit, I was sleeping on this, better get on it. I mean, it happened for me. I heard that Eren turned evil, and we know what's in the basement. And I said, oh shit. You see, people, I was one of the early adopters, okay? I was reading this in like 2011, and basically, by the time it got popular, I was where I guess season 3 would have started, and I dropped out because they were attacking on human, fighting an evil cowboy, and I said, wait a minute, I came here for Attack on Titan. And I promptly left. You know, I was gone for, I think, 6 years, give or take. I've basically been gone for slightly less time than the anime has existed, and I was sleeping on it. I was snoozing on it. I was never gonna come back. And one fine day, someone threw a brick through my window that says, "We know what's in the basement, and Aaron is history's worst monster." And I said, oh dang, oh, okay. Let's put back on the scout jacket and get back to work, people. And you know, that was an instance where someone spoiled it for me. I guess that could have been an anime spoiler at the time, but hey, I was spoiled for it, and it really kicked my butt in gear to get me all hyped up for what's going on. Or what if you're a long-time One Piece reader, right? Where you're convinced that we are just going in circles, Luffy isn't going to find that One Piece, right? And then, one fine day, you find out that Luffy has just gotten the GPS coordinates to the One Piece. You see a screen cap that's totally legit of Luffy saying, Siri, give me directions to One Piece. You know, if you weren't along with the story the whole time, you're gonna say, "Oh shit. Oh fuck, it's going down, dude. I gotta get in on that." And you know, I think that's the correct attitude to approach spoilers with. Now again, you may not agree with this video. In fact, I encourage to have different opinions, specifically about shit that doesn't matter like anime, not about important shit like race. Just FYI, in case someone thought that was like a dog whistle or some shit. So can you at least see where I'm coming from? And if not, you know, maybe post your rebuttal down there in the replies. And if you're with me on this one, like it. Or hey, you may be with me on this one for reasons I didn't mention, because there are several. So anyway, that's your video, and I hope you like these shorter ones. I'm going to try to make short conversational videos when I just don't feel like doing any editing. The takes are hot, but the will to edit is not.